Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's Kim and Jen from...
I'm gonna do something, but
Kim and Jen from Fleece and Harmony, Woolen Mill in Belfast, Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, it's hot.
Hot. We're under a weather warning.
Yeah, your hair is fluffy and mine you can't do anything with.
Well, yours gets fluffier when it's humid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To say
So
the
what
least. It looks like an
fluffy?
SOS pad.
Is Fluffy's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think you can tell it's humid. It's not smooth.
You should have to take a picture of Paige and it'll be like
Yeah,
that.
it's
That
exactly.
meme
Looks
that
like
went
the
around.
rabbit,
Yeah. Anyway, so hope everybody's doing great this week.
Can we show the meme? Why can't we?
Okay,
Let's show
why
it.
not?
It's funny.
All right.
We love this funny meme.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a rabbit that looks like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know
When
how
the-
you credit
when the
memes,
grooming-
but
Yeah, when the grooming gets away from us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so whew.
It's hot. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So we're not complaining.
Nope. We always talk about the weather. Sorry.
Right.
All those Maritimers watching who are homesick will appreciate that.
Yes.
Just like normal Maritimer chit chat.
Although now, like, there's weird bugs around that are not usually around at this time of year, and
There's like one in your hair right
What
now.
is it?
I don't know. A little fly.
Oh, okay. They're saying that they're emerging early because now this is hotter than usual in June.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's not
you know,
been bad for mosquitoes this year, though. Have you noticed?
too hot.
Is it? Well, whatever it is, I'll take it. I seriously, by
Making a
this
joke.
time, normally I'd be loading myself up on DEET every
I
morning.
do think the heat affects them. They like it cool, like in
Right.
the evening.
Yeah, okay.
So, but I heard about a bug that I'm dying to see, actually, and it's a moth. So it's hard to believe that we're going to talk about a moth that I'm dying to see, but there's actually a hummingbird moth, apparently. And it's colorful, and it's outside. They said it's about 5 centimeters wide, so it's a big one. And it hovers over flowers, and its wings beat really quickly. And that's why they call it the hummingbird
This is
moth.
here on the island?
Apparently.
Wow.
They were talking about it on the news this morning.
Well, as if anyone needed another reason to visit.
Yes. Maybe we
Exotic
can find a
moths.
picture of it. Yeah, the
Okay.
hummingbird moth.
All right, well, I'll look for a picture.
Mhm.
Let's admire that now.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is one. We're probably looking at it now.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Great.
Another reason to visit. So we just got word that our maritime bubble is opening.
Right.
July 3rd.
Atlantic bubble.
Atlantic bubble, that's true, because if you didn't know, Newfoundland is not considered part of the Maritimes.
No.
It's an Atlantic province.
That's right. The four
I think
of us.
We've explained that before.
Yes.
So all 4 Atlantic provinces are now allowed to commingle,
Right.
but they're all coming on the bridge, I guess.
I guess so. I haven't heard about the ferry.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be some traffic.
Mm-hmm. Some busy.
Right. She's right bogged down.
Yeah. So then all the lobster rolls will be happening, and yeah. Speaking of
It's a little bit daunting because I feel like everyone's going to come here.
maybe.
Like, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, that's where.
Like, if you're in Newfoundland and you're looking for a place to vacation in the Maritimes, when you can't do your normal, like beach weather vacation, where are you going? You're coming to Prince Edward Island.
or
Don't
Cape
you think?
Breton,
Cape Breton, maybe.
because the boat goes. Their ferry
Yeah, they
goes
have
to
less
Cape Breton.
family-oriented stuff, though. Like,
Cape Breton
well,
does?
they don't have like a Cavendish and Anna Green
No.
Gables and
Well,
all
no.
that.
No, but they have lots of stuff.
Golf.
Yeah, they've got
Beaches.
beautiful. Yeah, golf, beaches.
It's all
Beautiful
adult.
beaches.
It's adult stuff.
Yeah. So
Unless your kids like long car rides.
what?
PEI's your place. Good. Well, goodness knows if there's anyone in the Atlantic provinces that hasn't visited here before.
They'll be coming. Yes.
So it should be interesting. I'm a little nervous. It might be crazier than ever.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we're gonna see.
We're gonna find
We're
out
gonna
July
find out.
3rd. Batten
Yeah.
down the hatches.
Yeah.
All right. Come one, come all.
Yeah. If you're from Atlantic Canada.
Yes.
Atlantic Canada.
Which most of our viewers are not.
Canada.
but-
Welcome to Canada.
Yeah.
All right. So, so what about the farm? We're moving sheep around every
Yeah.
second day
In the heat.
in the heat. They all
Getting
have
attacked
shade.
by horseflies.
Yes, and they're just in case anybody's worried. There's automatic waters in all
Yeah.
the fields, so they get fresh, cool water whenever they want
They
it.
stay in the shade.
and they stay in the shade, and then someone gives a signal and they all go out at once. They nibble for 15 or 20 minutes, then somebody gives a signal, time to go back. They all march back to the hedgerow. It's really funny.
Yeah, and they'll eat more at night now.
Yeah.
If you're wondering, they'll kind of flip
right.
their schedule because
Yeah.
they'll eat when it's more comfortable outside.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's so tomorrow our volunteer is coming, Heather.
Right.
And she's going to see what it's like to move sheep around.
Oh, okay.
Because we're going to move sheep around.
I thought she was coming to lance something.
No. Well, we can get her to do that too.
We have something that needs to be lanced out in the barn.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting as it sounds.
Well,
it depends on the type of person you are.
Yeah, I find it exciting. Not
Okay.
that the animal has something that needs to be lanced, but
Can be very satisfying. That's all we'll say about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing is we had a fun photo shoot this week.
yes.
So a very well-known, excellent local photographer, Rachel Peters, was out to take some new sort of promo shots of us because our only one we have one, Kim and I with Diana. It's like 6 years old.
Yeah.
And she came out one evening earlier this week. Well, last week, technically.
And apparently we had light that people will pray for.
Yeah. As a
If you're a
photographer, she was
photographer.
very excited about the light that we had.
Yes.
And we look forward to sharing some of those on our Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was very fun.
Yeah, and I have to say that being in the hands of somebody that was clearly so capable about getting shots and stuff like that, she moved us around and I guess we took direction pretty well.
Hopefully.
Better than the sheep and the horses did.
Yeah, we didn't have much luck with the animal shots.
No.
They were, sheep are funny. Like, you think we know them so well. We think they're just the cuddliest, most curious, affable bunch. But you put a stranger out there,
they're the big black thing
they're like
aiming at them.
Nuh-uh,
Yeah,
not
they
happening,
wouldn't- they
not in
wouldn't.
my contract, not doing it.
Yeah, and we've seen them nervous before about people, and they weren't nervous. They just weren't playing along.
They're just like,
No, not sure.
No.
Not sure.
They're like, this isn't really about the snuggles, is it?
Yeah.
And then they literally will turn tail on you and just march off in the most indignant manner.
And they obviously knew we were in cahoots with whatever that was.
They'll just like turn tail,
Yeah.
waddle off, farting along, like,
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything I don't want.
That's right.
That's
So
what they
take
do.
that.
Yeah, and she was personally getting like, oh, why don't they like me? They're that independent.
Yes. And then the horses were, Miles kept
Clowns.
coming up to her.
Yeah.
She'd say, just stay there. So then when the big black thing got pointed at him, he came right up like that and put his nose right on her and was around her like this. So she couldn't take a picture.
On the front of her
Yes. Oh, anyway.
Bunch of knobs.
Kids and animals, they say.
Yeah.
Not good.
Anyway.
All right.
Don't look for any dignified horse or sheep shots.
Yes.
Not happening.
No. And Miles is famous for being a photo bomber. So every time somebody comes to take a picture of somebody else's horse, like Jennifer's one of her horses or the other, Miles always gets in the shot somehow. Not in this case, because he was right at the lens the whole time.
You can't take him that close up, Miles.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that.
So we had to give up on the animal aspect.
And what about those brownies on knit night?
Yeah, those were really good. I
Yeah,
don't even know what all
Rachel.
was on the top of them. Pecans and like different kinds
Sea
of chocolate
salt.
chips and sea salt. And
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
We're so lucky to have Rachel.
Yeah.
If I couldn't do a knit night without her, it would be
Yeah.
hollow.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be about the knitting. It's not.
There really is. She is quite the baker, that's for sure.
She always puts in that extra little bit of special.
Ken always is anxiously waiting in anticipation because
No
he gets
wonder.
whatever's left over.
He doesn't
at
even
the
have
end.
to knit.
Yeah.
He gets it for nothing.
He's got the coffee now. He's got the coffee
Going
queued
before
up
you-
right before
you know.
8:30.
Yeah.
She'll be here any
True
minute.
enough.
Anyway,
Okay, good.
so that's that.
Okay.
All right. And what was the story that we told at midnight?
Well, we're going to do that later.
We're going to do
It's
that
lower
later.
on the list.
Oh, okay.
That'll be part of our wrap up.
All right.
People love the wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. That's where we really get rambling.
Yes.
In case you're new. Did you tell them who we were?
No, we said Kim and Jen.
Did we?
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, so this
Okay,
is
we
a
don't know.
knitting podcast, in case you're wondering.
We're doing a great job so
Yeah.
far.
Okay, let's get to the knitting.
Okay, knitting.
Okay, we got all kinds of lessons and big discussions about the knitting. So do you want me to start?
Go ahead. I can't
Okay.
barely even.
All right, so
With
I'm going to
mine.
give all kinds of tips and tricks.
Okay.
Well, all kinds.
Let her rip.
I'll
Pardon the
give a
pun.
couple. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, no ripping. Okay, so Cornwallis has had progress. So this is the front, and I have just started the neck shaping. So you do both sides independently, like to come up to here. I'm not quite sure exactly how this is all going to fit together. With the set-in raglan, would you consider it a set-in if it's a raglan, even though you're sewing
I
it?
don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway,
So I
this
don't
is what
know.
it looks like, and it's around neck, but obviously you pick up stitches around here like this. And so I have a front and a back, and I'm ready to cast on the sleeves, and I'm going to do sleeves 2 at a time. So
Very cool.
I'm going to do that.
Are they done flat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that.
I love a flat sleeve.
Yes.
I really do. I'm all about in the round, but well, with the Chiago needles, it doesn't really matter.
No.
But if you got a magic loop it,
Yeah, it's not good.
no.
So I'm anxious to see, because I changed my decrease rather than just doing like a regular decrease on the raglan decreases. I knit a stitch and then did the decrease 1 stitch in. So the seam will come where after the first stitch, but I should have like a little pearly bumpy edge on the raglan, which I did on purpose. So I'm in because I thought it would be just a little bit of a decorative thing. So we'll see how that works out.
Be interesting.
Yeah, and still loving it. So that's good. And it was really
Now's the time you'd want to be wearing it. It
Yes.
would look great with these white pants.
yes, it would. I'm
gonna have to get knitting.
yeah. So well, you know what? I took Candy Crush off my phone. I've finished 2 books, and I didn't really play that much. I wasn't buying lives or anything like that, but I played 5 lives in the morning when I woke up with my coffee, and then I would play 5 lives at breakfast. Sometimes that went really quick, and then I would play like 5 lives at night before I went to bed. So that's all. Like I wasn't buying things and whatever. But then it got a little bit, I was threatening to quit and take it off my phone because they were pinging me all the time about signing in with Facebook and whatever. And I was okay to sign in with Facebook. I was fine signing in with Facebook. But then lately I had lost my Facebook connection probably when the Wi-Fi went out at one point or whatever. And then there's all this privacy issues and trackers and updates on phones for privacy and stuff like that. So I was not really figuring I want to jump into any of that. And it became more and more aggressive, reminding me to sign in with Facebook. And at one point, it was like it went dull, like the light, when the power starts to power down. And I couldn't get it going unless I signed in with Facebook.
No.
So I said, that's it. Uninstall.
Yeah, bye-bye.
So it was I don't want them to tell me what I have to do. So
With their free game.
So that's what I did. I uninstalled it, and I was a little bit hesitant because I do kind of like it mindless, whatever. But I have to say, even though that's all I was playing, it was sucking up time and
Not valuable.
not
Not a valuable use of your time.
no.
Or a good use of your valuable time.
Right.
Whatever.
So yeah, so that's what I
had to give it up years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't knit. You guys, well, everybody knows how much I used to knit. Since the whole COVID thing, I've cut back a bit because I just find, I need more changes of scene and things like that. But when I'm working out,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm doing a lot. I seem to have some kind of life now that I'm not married.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. I was like, something's got to go.
Yeah.
That was the first thing to go. But
So you talk to yourself and you say, well, I'm not really spending that much time with it, but it does impact the time that you have.
I don't even watch the TV now. My TV's never hardly on.
Yeah.
Like the odd movie a week or something.
Yeah. And we don't have a lot of free time, so even that little bit was enough to kind of zap. It's increased my productivity. So
Great news.
I got this done, and like I said, I finished 2 books that I had started and hadn't finished. Ooh, okay, this doesn't look good. Okay.
Separately unraveled.
Yeah, I have to put the stoppers on this. So.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about joining yarns in this because it's cotton. So there's lots of ways you can join yarns. Spit splicing is one. Probably in light of everything that's going on in the world, people are going, okay, but you know, if you know what spit splicing is, if you have wool, you can wet it and rub it really fast to get some friction going, and you can perfectly join without, we don't like knots around here. So then you can do a Russian join, which is another one that you link the yarns together. But I tried it on this because I don't like knots. And I tried it on this and it really didn't give a good join. And then you can also weave in ends like long tails and knit with the tails and get it in. But I tried that and you could see it. Yeah, so it was actually the thickness of it, I could see it. So I took that out and I have a knot. But I've discovered something, because the problem with tying a knot in your yarn is that you never get it in exactly the right place. It pops through on the front and all that, and your stitch before is too tight or your stitch after is a little bit too tight. So what I did is I left quite a long tail on either side of the knot. So I tied it in a square knot and I knit with it. I got to where the knot was. I just kept knitting. I looked at the front and it was right in the front in the middle. Right here. Yes. And you could see it. So, but luckily I left enough of a tail. I went to the back, I undid it, and then I retied the knot in the right place.
Right.
So now instead of having two long tails, I've got one that's long and one that's a lot shorter.
So you kind of like adjusted it, smoothed it out, and then just tied it with the exact right tension.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a very good hint. And I can tell you, you cannot see it.
Right. Because in cotton with no elasticity, it would be really pulley if it wasn't quite right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had a stitch that had, like, it was pulled. And now I'm really pleased with it. And I'd be the last person on earth, trust me, to suggest you putting a knot in your knitting. I know some people do that all the time, but for some reason, I have a big phobia about knots, but I'm really, really happy about it. And I have one up here on this one that I didn't, so this is how long the tail was. And I haven't adjusted it yet because it doesn't seem like it seems like it's sort of in the right place. But if it's not, once I pick up my stitches and stuff, I will undo. You can't tie it too tight when you're doing this. I will undo it and then I will tie it at the right tension and then I'll clip off the ends and it's better. So yeah, so here's down here, I made a little attempt at the thing, but you can see it. So that's not good. I might take out where I wove in and I might do the knot in the back there as well. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good tip. So so I read through, because I'm ready to pick up the stitches for the neck. So I read through, and it's a rolled neck. But I noticed that on all the pictures, the neck is like it's pressed out. So somebody didn't even like the neck.
Pressed it with an iron?
Well, it's standing up. Like it's not, I thought, oh, so it's a rib neck, but it's not. It's the same method. All of the knitters that knit it have the rolled, some did rib and stuff, but the people that knit it have the rolled neck. But the actual picture on the pattern is not rolled. I zoomed in because I wanted to see exactly. So anyway, we're going to see about that. But some people did some really, really cute things with this pattern, because there's some people had, if they didn't have quite enough yarn, they took the top yarn and they made two stripes on the sleeve that were of the yarn that was on top. Some people did a random stripe in the thing. It's made it really cute. Now I was kind of disappointed that I got the whole thing done.
So you can always make another one.
Yeah, so it's an enjoyable pattern. So you never know, I might make another one.
Very good.
All right, so that's that. So because I did a lot on that, not so much on the
You definitely want to finish that because now's the weather to be.
Yes, well, that's exactly right.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So this is just more of the same. People want to see the progress. I don't even know if I don't know how many rows I did, not many. But it's like I said the last time, it's just fun to watch the patterns developing. So that's continuing, and I'm just about the end of the first ball, so I got my nos to pin out when I needed a break, and I'm ready to go for the next bit. So I'll work a bit more, and it is a difference knitting cotton and wool in the heat. The wool is like when you've got a weather heat warning. The cotton that is more comfortable, so to knit with.
Okay, good.
All right, so that's that.
Okay, so my whips. So Teardale hat, thrilled to be on the motif. So you can just see the bottom of the snowflakes here, and then of course they're the same on the other side because it's fully reversible, double knit. Wow, that really doesn't want to stay up. I've never double knit before. Actually, I'm working on it like this. That would have been confusing. I turned it inside out to show them at midnight. It would have been like, what's going on? So the cute little crown twist method worked perfectly. It wasn't an ordeal at all. I actually was able to do it just from the written instructions without
it's cute.
a
the
video
way that
or anything.
Works is really So what do you do?
I don't want to give away her technique in case it's something she invented, but it's very easy to do with the pattern. She does have a pictorial tutorial, but I was able to do it just from the written instructions. So it's not NBD. No big deal.
Okay.
And super satisfying because it's so cute. Yeah. Just loose and cozy. So I never double knit before, so it took me a little while to figure out how to do this. But Kim had an excellent course by Lucy Neatbee that was on Craftsy/Blueprint, whatever, but nobody can get it now, right?
Well, if you have a subscription, you can still watch it.
Okay.
But they're not selling anything anymore, so you can't buy it.
Okay. But it was amazing. In 3 minutes, I figured out exactly what was going on.
Yeah. She's an amazing teacher.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with this. It's really, really, really cute. It's going to be insanely warm.
Yeah. The fabric is really nice.
Yeah. I mean, you could wear this and do the Northwest Passage. Basically. That's what it should be called, Northwest Passage.
Yeah.
So yeah, what else can I say? I now know how to rip double knitting. Once you get your legs with it, it's really really not that complicated. No. You're just knitting kind of 2 layers. Now the way this one is particularly designed, they are fused a little bit because you're doing alternating color work, but you just have to keep it straight that you're knitting on this side with this color and knitting on this side with the other color, and they're mostly staying separate, and there's not much to it. Now my provisional cast on, as predicted, was a complete and utter nightmare because I used a wool mohair yarn for it and it was stuck fast. So as per usual, half my provisional cast on got ripped out, or half my first row got ripped out with my provisional cast on, and that made a little bit of a mess here. But you probably can't
maybe
even
when
really
you block
see
it. A lot of it'll come out.
It's quite a mess. I actually fixed it to when I showed you last time. It all looked like garter.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
But the truth is I lost a bunch of stitches off the end of my provisional cast on, which I always do because I always insist on making the same mistake. More on that later when we get to FOs. So, and the great news is we got more of these books in. A lot more. Yeah. So the Milwaukee Heeds book is back in stock, and there's just beautiful hat patterns in it. I think it's just really the best hat book I've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, it's great. So if you were waiting for that, it's now here. So it's really fun and satisfying, but it's definitely a winter project. It's like January only.
And the fabric is really nice.
Yeah.
It's with the sock, right?
Yes, I'm doing it with our sock yarn, and it gauges up pretty well. If you wanted to knit any of those hats with our sock yarn, it does gauge up pretty well. In other news, this kit that I got from Kate Davies, which remains unpronounceable to me, but it's listed below. I've got quite a bit done on. So my gauge swatch for this came out perfect. How ironic. More on that later. And I'm just knitting away, stocking it on this, and I love it. And this is a really light wool. Yeah. I mean, it is 100% wool, I think, but it's just a dream to work with.
Yeah, it's very fine.
It feels almost like cotton, like there's nothing to knitting with it in the heat.
Yeah.
So, we don't sell this yarn, but I'm really enjoying working with it, and I knew I would because everything Kate does is just beyond reproach, really. I mean, she's serious,
a professional.
Yeah, very high standards, I think. So love it. I've decided to go for it and just knit the size I wanted originally, And I'm just going to knit an extra inch and hope I don't run out of yarn. If I do run out of yarn, it'll come under the cowl neck a little bit.
Oh yeah, well that's a good place to take it out.
Because I don't want it to be quite as short in the torso as it was designed, even though it says it's for layering, which makes sense. You could put a tighter t-shirt over it and wear it kind of like in a vesty kind of manner.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. And this you can watch TV with. So that was how I was able to watch a movie this week.
Oh, what movie did you watch?
Well, I've watched a couple surfing movies.
Okay.
Which is weird, I know. But I watched the new one with Bethany Hamilton, Unstoppable. You know, the girl, well, she's a woman now, but who had her arm bit off in the shark attack.
Yeah.
Incredible story, like incredible woman. I mean, the things she's done, even since then, even since learning to surf, again, at like 14 with one arm or whatever age she was, it just goes on and on. Like, the things that she's accomplished are amazing. So then, it was fairly relaxing, like watching all that waves and sunshine and palm trees.
They didn't show the shark attack, I guess.
No, well, they showed little bits of the press arriving and whatnot. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the poor thing.
It wasn't about that.
It was a terrible story. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a Laird Hamilton one. So Laird Hamilton is a very famous male surfer. And he's got one called Take Every Wave. And that one's on Amazon. And I've wanted to see it for a while because he's apparently one of the toughest people on earth. Literally just has taken such a beating in doing that sport. So I think I like stories of perseverance. And those two are definitely all about that. Good. And if you want to stare at the Hawaiian coastline for an hour and a half, like, what could be wrong with that? Right. I mean, it's completely inspirational and serene just watching it. I don't know anything about surfing. Yeah. I will never set foot on a surfboard. But that's what I've been watching this week. But it's been very relaxing. And it's thinking about something completely different, I guess. Yes. So,
and it's not, if you're watching inspirational stories, so it's not heavy.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not heavy.
Uplifting.
Yeah. I just think personal triumph.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, FOs. I just feel like I want to have a moment of silence. Because
this is all we've been talking about all day, by the way.
This happened this morning. So I'm literally nearly brought to tears over my Sunday cardigan. What happened, you ask?
You've got the buttons on.
Well, I got the buttons on. And the buttons are just the picture of perfection.
Yes.
And we carry these buttons, by the way. We don't have them listed, but if you really like them, we have them in several colors. Drop us a line.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I put that on the mannequin for you the last week sometime. And every customer that comes in, not that many, but they all are drawn to it and feel it and say, "Oh, how beautiful!"
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be super amazing? Is if it fit my body at all. It doesn't.
No. Well, it sort of fits. It's not as bad as you think.
It's badder than I want it to be.
Yeah, yes, it's not what you had envisioned.
I'm super upset because I didn't gauge swatch and there was like 10 centimeters of ease or something listed for the thing. So and unfortunately I was in between sizes. So I chose 10 centimeters. Holy crap. I'm going to go down a size then. Of course, with my luck, because I went down a size, now that I've checked my gauge just this morning, it was actually too tight, which never happens. I'm super loose. I normally go down a needle size. As it turns out, I had 13 stitches for 4 inches and the pattern calls for 12. So I further shrunk it by knitting it smaller than gauge. And the problem is, apparently, so then I followed the instruction. Oh, it's just so tight. So the instructions for the buttons were like, put one at the top, space the rest out evenly, which I did. So be prepared to learn something else. Look at the gapping. Oh, gaping. Oh, my heart. And I'm getting hot. It's terrible. Okay, this is a nightmare right now. Ironically, the shoulders fit.
Yeah.
Because of all this give. See, right. But once that ended, you did need it to fit, as it turns out. So I'm going to double up on the buttons, and that will fix that for the most part. But I mean, it's clearly not the big cozy Sunday cardigan where you're wrapping the sleeves around your cocoa.
Yeah, like you
kind of thing I had envisioned.
Yeah.
But it's my fault. I didn't swatch. It does fit up here. That's usually my main concern. So I thought, why swatch when you've got all this give? Well, because unless you want this, and then there's not enough buttons, and the buttonholes weren't exactly fun. So I'm not really looking forward to adding a bunch more, but of course I will to make it wearable.
Can you do afterthought buttonholes?
Oh yeah, that's how they're done anyway.
Oh.
Thankfully. Yeah.
Okay. So then my little trick that I told you about could have worked.
Would have worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the trick. Put a button here.
First.
Yeah, at your nipples. Because if it's going to
give credit to who
Right.
we heard it from. So I watched the Woolly Thistle podcast, and she had a cardigan on, which ironically is in one of the books that we're going to show later. But anyway, she had a beautiful cardigan on, and she was talking about getting the buttons in the right place. And she said, there's nothing worse than having your buttons in the wrong place, and this is the worst part. So she said, you always place your button there first, and then other places where it could stretch, like at the hips, and then you space out the other buttons in between. And she said, don't worry too much if they're not exactly 6.545 inches
Which
in
is
between
what I
buttons.
did.
Yeah. So she said you have to make it so that it attaches at the places where there's
there's nothing going to fix this hip thing, and it's not getting any bigger, I can tell you. So that would have to relax a lot for that to sit properly. But I will add the extra buttons to at least strap myself into it. How disappointing. Good grief.
Mm-hmm.
You have to swatch. If I had guessed, honestly, normally I would have gone down a needle size,
Right.
because I am usually loose. I know as you get better at knitting, you probably tighten up a bit. So maybe it's just the last couple of years I've gotten a bit.
No, I actually think you're supposed to loosen up, but you're probably more consistent. For sure.
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, you'll still wear it. Chances are you wouldn't have had it buttoned up right up under your neck all the time anyway.
I don't know what that was on me. Probably another bug.
No, it wasn't a spider.
So, I still love the pattern, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't, can you believe it?
I'm glad I decided to go up a size. I haven't started mine yet.
I've been
but
so
I'm gonna go
excited
up.
about it.
Yeah.
So it's a big disappointment. I mean, it's going to be super cute, but it's snug. It's a different kind of thing. And, I have to add more buttons now. So I didn't enjoy putting the first 5 on.
So
that's why
the
it took me so
designer is
long.
Petite knits, so I guess she's petite.
Yeah, it's for not petite, but it's, it fits Lois here perfectly.
Yeah.
Way to go, Lois.
I mean, it's not.
You know what it is when you just have your heart set on something, and when it's not perfect?
Yeah.
It looks lovely on the mannequin.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I don't know what I'm going to do. I may want to knit it again sometime.
I think I would knit it again. I'm already planning my second one. I know
I
I'm
might do
learn
it
my
in a nice
baby one.
cozy gray, like how the pattern was shown.
Yeah, I'm going to do it in a brown.
Yeah, I mean, we love it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to say it runs small because my gauge was off, but I think
Yeah.
it doesn't run as big as you would think given kind of like the design. Now, mind you, Rachel, she says hers is getting huge because the yarn she used is giving.
Stretches, yeah. But I think it's also a little bit, when you see, because in the pattern, because I looked, it says the ease is 8 to 12 centimeters. So if you're converting inches and centimeters all the time in your head, 8 to 12 of whatever sounds like it's big. But it's centimeters, not inches. Mm-hmm. And we often work in inches. Like
the whole
I still
pattern
measure
is in centimeters.
Yeah. So I think that kind of gives the impression that it's a lot bigger than what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's true too.
Because it's a psychological thing. So anyway, I'm glad
because
that
10 centimeters is 4 inches.
yes. So that's not really that much in a sweater. And one stitch, so one stitch every 4 inches. Excuse me, in the circumference, that is quite a bit. Like you lost, and you went down a size because you already
went down in the sizing. Like I was in between sizes for the recommended
so how
bust
much
measurement.
How much ease were you willing to give up? between the 8 to 10.
Well, I don't remember now.
Or 8 to 12.
I don't know. I don't remember how many centimeters my bust was. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's part of the problem.
Centimeters.
Yeah. So on my Cornwallis, I went through the project notes on Ravelry, and everybody says the sleeves are really long. So I like my sleeves a little bit longer, but I'm going to pay attention to that too, because there was like a lot of people that said they were long.
Yeah, these Rachel found really long, but I find them perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's snugger.
Beautiful.
It's a snug fitted kind of 50s type cardigan, not the big slouchy Sunday cardigan. You're not wearing this on a Sunday. This is straight up Saturday night now. Like I knit the wrong sweater. I wanted the Sunday sweater. I got the Saturday night out on the town sweater.
Yeah, well.
Could it be any more different? Anyway, whatever. Just swatch.
Yeah.
So annoying. And there's nothing wrong with it. I did a lovely job. Like there's no mistakes.
It's very ironic. The one time, and you were so chuffed about the fact that
I was very chuffed. Humility.
Yes.
It's a lack of humility, and the universe struck me down.
Yeah. You're humble now.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled to the bowing at the foot of the gauge swatch.
Yeah. And, there's always lessons. Like, there's always things that we're learning.
Well, this is why I think Karen, who you made fun of from Knit Night, who said, I'm still looking for the perfect project. And we were like, oh, for God's sake, everything you knit is perfect. But, you don't know what that person's goals were. How their dreams were dashed by something they screwed up that nobody else is noticing. I'm really feeling this right now.
Excellent knitter. Yeah, but she doesn't say that she doesn't make any mistakes. So we all make mistakes.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Not happy at all. So anyway, update on the yarn that we're using for this. So now we had some Garfield Grizzly in the navy. Kim's got her bit. A couple other people bought it to make the project.
Well, I'm worried. Do I still have my bit?
Yeah, you have your bit.
Okay. You're in charge of it. So.
Yeah, but we better check making the right size.
Yeah.
So there's no more Garfield Grizzly to be found, but you could use our Aran weight yarn to make this and hold it with the Sidsel case. Just check your swatch.
Yeah.
But I think that would work out fine.
Sure.
Yeah. It's very similar. And like the specs aren't identical, but this is so loosely spun that I think that they would work up almost identical. So that gives you like 72 colors to choose from. We have every color of Sidsel K's now. I know there's over 40.
Yeah.
So if you still want to make it, you don't have to make it with the Garfield Grizzly. It would absolutely work beautifully with our Aran. And if you want to make it in our Aran in this color, which we're calling something to do with beets, can't beat it. Or something.
There. She just made it up.
No, somebody else. So one of our viewers suggested that. But I was calling it Spring Garden because there's beets in your Spring Garden. But if you want this color, drop us a line and I'm happy to dye that up in our Aran, even though we don't typically carry it. So you can
call her about the color because I love that color.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can I say about it? Let's move on.
Yeah. All right. So it still looks nice. I know it's not, I shouldn't try to make you feel better. You want to indulge in your disappointment a little bit.
I need to grieve a little.
Okay.
It's a grieving process. I only found out this morning when I sewed the buttons on.
Yeah.
Last week, I
came
still
over
thought
to
it was
my
fine.
place and said, look.
And then I had to message Rachel, and she's like, my God, how can it not fit? It's just...
Swatch. It's a swatch.
You have to swatch.
Yeah. So...
But I also knit loose.
Not anymore, maybe.
Maybe not with the larger needles.
And maybe with the Sidsel K's, it tightened you up a little bit.
Maybe it kept you reined right in.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stretch at all. That might be.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So
anyway,
that's it. We're turning the page.
Thank you. It was more than a moment of silence.
Yeah.
Several moments.
Yeah.
Okay, but the big exciting news is for the shop update.
Yes.
So let's talk about the kit first.
The kit. Okay.
Yes. So there's this lovely kit from ROWAN that ROWAN is promoting at a special price.
The 012 wrap.
Right. 012 wrap.
That's what it's called.
I mean, if the romantic name doesn't get you.
It is a lovely wrap.
Surely
I have no idea why they call it the 012 wrap.
If the 012 wrap doesn't just inspire you to go out and knit something, then I don't know what will. Okay. So it's a kit. So we have, it's available in 4 colors.
Yes.
This is it. It looks like it's just dreamy to knit, and it's very generously sized.
Right.
And it's a lovely combination of Summerlight
4-ply
4-ply cotton and the Kid Silk Haze, which somebody happened to have a project in here at Knit Night.
Yes.
Stunning combination, super soft, lovely.
Yeah.
And it's a stripe effect, so it's a little bit like the Earhart shawl with the Kid Silk Haze striped with another yarn.
Or with like my birds of a feather.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
light stripe of Kid Silk Haze by itself, and then the Summerlight 4-ply.
Right. So we have a couple available in the white, which we're showing. And then it comes in, the kit comes in 3 other colors.
Right.
So originally this was going to be something that was only available to Canadian customers and stuff if we did it through ROWAN. So we decided to do it in-house. We're doing it ourselves. So it's now available to everybody. Because if you're Canadian, you're wondering why this sounds like big news, because I had sent out an email to our Canadian email list last week about the kit. And then we decided just to handle it differently. So now everyone is able to order it. So I think it looks like an amazing summer project.
Yeah.
And it will be super satisfying. Very fun and easy knit. And you get a lovely project. And it's a good price.
And the yarn is beautiful.
Yes. And we're including a printed copy of the pattern.
Right.
So you don't even have to go to Ravelry or do anything else. It's all going to come there except for the needles, of course, unless you order them.
Yeah.
So that's it. So the O12 wrap.
Yeah.
Taking the world by storm.
And we've also used this opportunity to start to carry the Summerlight 4-ply.
Yeah.
So we're just thrilled with the Summerlight DK, which is heavier gauge. So now, because we're ordering in the stock for the wrap, then we will order more colors of the Summerlight 4-ply. And as always, if there's a certain color that you want and you want to order it from us, then just let us know and we'll order it. Yeah. If we don't have it in already.
Yeah. So in other exciting ROWAN news, just reach behind you there. Can you find the gray merino or the oyster color merino lace that Andrew's knitting? Is it here? It's here. Yeah. So I don't know what this is called. Vintage, you said?
I think it's vintage.
Yeah, so the Bowie pattern, which is on the cover of magazine 67, Andrew is knitting this on Fruity Knitting, which is amazing.
Yeah,
yeah, so nice.
I was like, oh,
yeah,
we have it.
Which I think she did mention to us that he was doing that earlier. But anyway, we have the yarn for it in like 5 colors. So if you're wondering, if you're in Canada and you're wondering where you can get the yarn for that project, because Andrew's knitting it, and of course it's beautiful, we have some of it here and it's already listed. So I'll link to that down in the show notes in case you want to make that project, which I've had my eye on, but honestly, I can't do anything else right now.
It's beautiful. In fact, well, it's not like this, but it has that capey look on the sleeves with the lace, and then it's stockinette on the body.
It's
so
beautiful.
It's like perfect.
And this is a beautiful yarn.
Yes.
And it's the same one that's in the Earhart shawl.
Yes.
Yeah. We're so impressed with it.
Yes, we are very
impressed. It's light as a feather.
Yeah.
So that would be a nice summer project. Okay. So that wasn't the official shop update. That was a side
Same
segue.
thing for the lace. We only have a few colors, but if you're Andrew is knitting the one for Andrea there's a really bright green. I'm not sure what it's called.
Right.
It's kind of like in the Summerlight DK, it's the pear color.
Okay.
So it's that one of those really
like a
sharp,
chartreuse?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Exactly. So
Pretty.
he's doing that color.
That'll be gorgeous.
It's going to be stunning. So if there's colors that you want in that, then let us know too. And we're going to have the books. It will be in stock. So
yeah, we'll order it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the books the pattern's only available, the book, I imagine.
I'm not sure, but usually that's the case.
Yeah, at least for a little while. Usually for at least 6 months to a year. They keep it in the book only. So yeah, we can hook you up with that project. Okay. Other exciting news, we finally figured out how to get Kate Davies books back in stock.
Yes.
Because there was a little bit of switch over with who was distributing them in Canada, and we're now getting them directly from Kate.
Yes.
In Scotland. They were shipped from Scotland.
I think so.
Okay.
And wow.
What?
Talk about the unboxing.
Oh.
The guy,
Everything that's wrapped in paper.
I think it's a guy. It might not be a guy. Sam.
Somebody named Sam.
Somebody named Sam looks after the book orders.
Because there's a lot of Samanthas who are Sams.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. The person
is,
wow, shout out to Sam. We're
Yeah.
so impressed.
Yeah, and we got a lovely handwritten note,
Mm-hmm.
which we really appreciated. So super impressed with the service. Of course, as we were saying, always exemplary.
Right.
Speaking of reading in your spare time, I am definitely digging into this right away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. So this is, of course, Kate's book about her own journey from having a stroke at age 36 and how she sort of recovered her, basically got her life back. So that's exciting. So that's
called
here, Handy Woman.
Handy Woman.
Yeah. We got her Yolks book.
Mm-hmm.
They're just beautiful. Like so many nice things in all of these.
Ironically, the cardigan that I was telling you about
Right.
on the Woolly Thistle podcast is out of this book.
Right. They're just gorgeous.
I don't remember which one it was, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she said that it was out of this book. But.
So we got that one. We've never had this one before. This knitting season, this was a really cool thing that Kate did over one winter. She released these patterns and there was like a whole program she was running, but now all of them are in this book called Knitting Season. And again, just beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Pillows
love
too?
these.
I haven't
Silky.
looked at this one yet.
I haven't looked through it all.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's like the LLB Norwegian pullover.
Yeah.
That's retro.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you call that little
Lice.
Lice?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why
It's
they
not
call
called
it
that.
that.
I'm sure Kate doesn't call it that.
Oh, that's what the Norwegians call it.
The Milrock Beads, which has Taradale in it that I just showed you. And finally,
and also the Roman.
the Roman Tam hat. And the West Highland Way, which we have had before, but we haven't had in stock for a good long while. And there are some beautiful sweaters in this that I've also wanted to knit. And that thistle pattern blanket would be dreamy. They're all beautiful.
It's been so long since we had it that I don't know.
Yeah, they're all beautiful. So we're really, really happy to have those back in stock.
Mm-hmm.
Really happy. And
the service was fantastic.
yeah, and I don't know how easy they are to get in our country right now with the distribution change or whatever, but we're really happy to have them. So if you want...
We weren't going to let that stop us.
No. Just call Kate right up and get those books. What's happening? So really excited to list all of those this week too. Okay. Now we're going to talk about our favorite shellfish stories.
There's two.
Yeah, two that we think of right off, but if another one comes to mind. So I know that sounds funny, but there have been adventures in shellfish.
Yes.
Okay.
Funny adventures. Season. There's often shellfish adventures that are not so funny, but in this case, lobster season. Okay. So we were talking about it at midnight, and this is where the stories all seem to get unpacked.
And obviously it goes without saying that if you have a shellfish story,
put
it in the comments below, right?
Yes.
Because this could get interesting.
Yes. So I think I'm not sure that we didn't tell this story before, but maybe
we definitely didn't.
We didn't.
I'm sure we didn't.
So we when Michelle, our other sister, and I don't think you were even on the map yet, but we'd go camping a lot every weekend. Mom and Dad would pack us all up and we'd go camping, and they always met the same group of people at the campground that they used to go to, and they would all get together, and it was by the fire. All kinds of things happened.
You got burnt with a marshmallow.
No, that wasn't there. That was at another place. But there was a skunk under Dad's chair.
Okay.
That's another story. That's a skunk story, not a shellfish story. Anyway, needless to say, there would be some alcohol consumed, and the kids would get put to bed, and the adults would still be outside. I still remember, it's a very fond memory, listening to the adults talk and the fire crackling and stuff like that. So we'd fall asleep, of course. Anyway, the party got a little bit... went a little bit longer than it usually does, apparently, that night. And you remember back in I guess it would have been the 70s, because if you weren't there, it would have been early 70s, and I don't know if you can still buy it, but paper towel had those designs on the ends of them.
You can still get design paper towel. I had some with whales on it recently. You made fun of it, remember?
Oh, okay. All right. So... I just saw this beautiful butterfly on the window. I thought it might have been a hummingbird. Okay. Anyway,
she's right on
squirrel. All right. So the avocado refrigerators and appliances.
I think they had avocado paper towel. Like the whole thing was green.
No, this was just the pattern. So it's just the pattern, avocado, which at its most preen condition, that is not really the most beautiful color in the world,
Right.
for the most part.
Avocado?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that particular, you
Right.
know, it was everywhere. Appliances.
Yeah.
Anyway, so somebody, after all the lobster was gone and steamed and everything, somebody got the idea that it would be great that you use lobster shells to make chowder. Or
Lobster
stew.
bisque.
Yeah, but it's bisque. Nobody there was calling it bisque.
Okay.
It was a lobster chowder or whatever. So they thought it was great. They put in all the shells into the pot, and they cooked it, and then we could hear them. Oh my God, this is delicious! Oh, this is so good! This is so good! And they were
brilliant.
They
chefs.
were like, yeah, it was just the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So then the next morning,
They were over lubricated.
Yes.
But it was, yeah.
Yes. So the next morning, everybody woke up. It's a little bit slow going around. Of course, the women folk went out to clean up, and some of the women had lost their sense of humor at some point. The wives had lost their sense of humor at some point. And so then they had their revenge, because when they opened the pot and they looked in it, it wasn't only the lobster shells that went in, it was also the dirty paper towel.
That were on all the plates.
Yes, that was on the plate.
Everything on the table, they just put it in and made
Except
a
for
bisque
the
with
paper
it.
plates. Well, they probably didn't even have paper plates. They were probably using newspaper and whatever. And I guess
that
the
was
pot,
all in the soup.
I guess the pot looked so disgusting that it was really nobody was feeling that great by the next day anyway. So it was a
Don't
bad day.
Don't drink and bisque.
Yeah,
That's and it was green. Like I
Yes.
think you're missing the point where like it was all green from the dye in the paper towel.
Yeah, it was not good.
Gross.
Yeah, very gross.
So our other
I'm just feel like I need a mint julep. Am I moist?
yeah. What are you having, a power surge over there?
I don't know if it's a power surge or is it hot in
It's
here?
the pressure of telling that story.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
not hot.
No, I'm not hot.
Okay.
This is it.
Just a
This
little
is real
bit.
life.
Yeah.
When you're 55, all of a sudden you get hot.
Is
Okay.
my makeup running?
No.
No?
You're
Okay.
fine.
All right. Whew.
Okay, she needs some sweet tea. I don't know what's with the southern thing, but anyway.
All right.
Okay. So my shellfish story is another shellfish. Well, it's a shellfish purchasing story.
Yeah.
So right before I got married, I came here with my husband, who is a licensed chef.
Mm-hmm.
And we went up whale watching at the very northern tip of Cape Breton, Bay St. Lawrence.
Right.
And as we got back in, they were hauling in the day's catch and they were selling it
Snow
off the
crab,
wharf.
yeah.
Snow crabs. That's the type of crabs it is for sure, right? It wasn't
yeah.
the elastic and king
No.
crab. It was snow crabs. Okay.
Yeah, which are delicious.
Oh, so delicious.
Yeah.
You mostly eat the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the legs are the part that you eat. Like if you go to a restaurant, you probably get a half pound or a pound of legs.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big body attached to those legs that is kind of, you don't really do anything
It's
with.
picky to.
It's a bit, yeah. So
Yeah.
their point being, to get a pound of crab legs, you need quite a few more pounds of actual whole crab,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I assumed, since Stephen was a chef and worked in many restaurants, he was, would be skilled to go and talk
Savvy.
to the fishermen and get, the price on the crab, which was incredibly cheap. I think it was $2 a pound.
I don't know. It seemed like a good deal.
So there was like 4 of us. So we sent him up. We said, get 20 pounds.
Yeah.
He goes over. There's chit chat. He comes back with this bag of crab. He asked for 20 crabs.
Yeah.
Not 20 pounds, 20 crabs,
Yeah.
which is probably like in the region of 60 to 80 pounds.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe, anyway, I don't remember how much it cost.
80 was there
It was
somewhere.
at least double. I think it cost $80.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So it was 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Instead of 20 pounds, we got 40 pounds.
Yeah.
So for this vacation, we had gone all out and rented a convertible, which, as you know, the roof has to have somewhere to go if it retracts, which
Right.
means the trunk is generally painfully small.
And the day was like today.
It was hot as heck.
Yeah.
So, and we're 3.5 hours from our accommodations.
Yes.
We're at the very top. Like if you're going around the Cabot Trail, you go like this. We're at the farthest point.
Yeah.
And it's now time to head back.
Yeah.
So we had no ice,
No.
coolers, no room. No
We had to
nothing.
buy coolers,
And
but
we
we
had
cleaned
a
out
huge
the...
amount
Yeah.
of crab to try to save. So we
Yeah.
had to go to the grocery stores in up there.
Camp. I think we went to
Shetty Camp. Yeah, like forget it. Trying to find. So we found a bunch of styrofoam coolers. They fit like 4 crabs each.
Yeah.
We had them shoved in every corner of the car.
Yeah.
Like the rest of us rode home like this.
Yeah.
With our legs over a cooler full of crab, probably expiring because they don't store and ship cool as well as lobsters do. They could die off on the trip home.
And we had called Dad to tell him to get the pots ready because we're gonna.
And we couldn't even finish the loop. We had to like shoot home as quickly as possible.
And Dad said, "Get here quick because they don't last.
They're not going to last in a hot car for 3.5 hours." Yeah. Anyway, so we got back and they were all fine. And we made the most delicious. We had the most delicious food, and then we had crab cakes the next day, which were absolutely stupendous. So then we were kind of happy. We did eat it all. Yeah. But 20 pounds, not 20 crabs. Yeah. Yeah. And then in the middle of it all, he shut my hand in the car door. Fully shut it. Like my hand, like you could see fingers on one side and the wrist on the other.
It was latched.
It was latched, around my hand. Well, I think it was just one finger.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was kind of, I don't know. Anyway, so I walked down the aisle with a black fingernail.
Yeah, it was right before you were.
Probably a bad omen.
Yeah. It was adventure.
Anyway, so moral of the story is do not send the Torontonian to purchase the fresh seafood off the wharf. I think he got nervous.
Well, they were chatting and good old time on the wharf.
And then it's hilarious because, of course, living in Ontario all those years or whatever, they were literally $2 a pound, okay, which will blow some of your minds, I'm sure. Yeah. And then we get back to the cottage or whatever, and my father calls up my uncle, I think, who's the expert on crab in the area or something. He goes, "Well, did you ever get ripped off? They're going for $1.80. We were like, "Oh, for God's sake. Come on. They were $2. How could you be getting ripped off?" So maritime-y. Oh, wow. Yeah. You know, it was just like upper Canadians. Yeah. They're going for $1.80. Yeah. Okay. Great. We were pretty happy with the $2 and the broken finger. And
if he had heard they were $1.80, he might have asked for another 10. Then we'd really be in trouble.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's the last time we've had crab like that. I do believe.
It was delicious. I love crab. I don't eat lobster.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't eat lobster, but I love crab.
Let's try to get some soon.
Yeah. Let's see.
Anyway, I like both, but
maybe we need to go up west.
Up west? Is that where the crabs are?
I don't know. The Northumberland Strait is probably they like cold water, so I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll
enlighten us, Islanders.
We'll do some research.
Is there snow crab to be found? We need to know where. Tell us your secret spot.
Yeah.
To buy it.
We'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Secret bacon, secret crab.
Yeah.
The other thing is I went kayaking for the first time with Rachel last week.
I know. I can still hardly believe it.
Why?
Well, because you don't kayak.
Well, I've never kayaked. It was so fun. Yeah. She came with them loaded on the roof. We got it off. I got sucked into something that's apparently called muscle mud that's black. I went up past my ankle, all over my New Balance sneakers. Got the craft out in the water. Yeah. The wind changed. I got a little nervous. I paddled like a maniac back. Oh, really? It's supposed to be serene. Rachel's on her paddle like this half the time. You know, super efficient. And I'm like... don't know what I'm doing. So I'm like, this is like white water. I better get out of here. And she's like, you seem tense. Yeah. We're like, slow it down. We're like, it was funny. And then we got out. I had to pee in the woods. Wow. It was a whole sportsy thing. It was very sportsy. It was highly sportsy.
Yeah. So were you on the ocean or on a river?
Well, technically, it was a bay of some sort.
Okay.
But the ocean. It was like an inlet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So no, but past one of the islands, when the wind picked up, it did get a little dicey for a few minutes there. You weren't like the duck, calm on the edge. You were obviously because I don't really know how to kayak. There's definitely a technique to making the paddles more efficient. Yeah. I think I was working pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. But it was your first time.
It was my first time. I'll get it.
You're right.
And there was probably nothing to be nervous about. It wasn't really white water, but I'm a little bit afraid of currents, I have to say. Well, there was a trip on Lake Kejimkujik one time with our parents when the wind picked up, and that's a big lake. And they really struggled to get back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the wind. Now, there's no current in a lake.
Oh, okay.
But you can get out and not get back in.
Because they had kayaks. You guys
It was
went...
a canoe.
Oh, a canoe. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
But you can be working pretty hard against the wind to get back in a big lake. It's, I remember that being a little bit tense, so I got a little bit nervous.
I'm smiling because I will for another day. There's lots of
canoeing stories.
Yes, with my friend Jackie.
Oh,
also never
camped before.
Camped, or wasn't it? But we'll have to do a whole series.
Right.
There's a whole.
Gosh, she could have a whole
time.
sitcom after her camping adventures. She definitely was not sportsy. She wasn't even sportsy enough to make the joke about being sportsy.
No, oh no.
All right, good. Okay,
right.
so those. So the final thing. Oh no, not the final thing. So the nanny sweater pattern.
Yes.
If you recall, we begged somebody to do it for us, and Carla is doing it.
Yeah.
Wolf in Sheep's Clothing on Instagram, and she's right on it.
Yeah.
She's got the measuring tape. She sent us all kinds of questions,
doing stories.
some of which we haven't answered yet.
Oh, okay.
You can follow her on Instagram to follow the progress. We're still trying to select a yarn. That's been a bit of a challenge, but I think we finally got it today.
Yeah.
It's going to be with a ROWAN cotton yarn that we're going to make.
Well, the Summer Light 4-ply.
Okay, Summer Light 4-ply. Good. Yeah. So that's all underway. So that's going to be exciting to follow that along. Now, Carla works quickly.
And she's doing a really good job on the stories.
Yes.
So I can hardly wait to wake up in the morning and see what she's doing.
So thank you, Carla. Yeah. And the nanny sweater pattern, slightly new and improved, will be available.
Yeah.
And of course, one of us will knit it. I don't know which one.
And the tiny unfortunate thing is it's absolutely impossible to get colors that match.
The exact colors
we
of the
tried
original sweater.
Yeah, like
been trying for a couple weeks.
Yes, apparently 60s polyester
or sherbet color. It's not it seemed like it was going to be not that challenging. It's just citrus stripes.
You could get 3 out of the 4 in one yarn brand, and then 3 out of the 4 in another yarn brand, but not the same 3. Like it was a little bit challenging. So anyway, we're happy with what we've come up with, but
and we're going to do kits for that, and there's going to be 3 different color schemes.
Yes,
exciting. Okay, so that'll be really fun. Then we had an Ask Us Anything.
Yes, which is a really good one.
Okay,
because we talked about orders being late because batches didn't turn out. And we can't do block fingering because the batches don't turn out. So obviously the question is, and more than one person asked it, so I didn't list the names. But what do you do with the failed batches?
We knit with them.
Yeah, we personally knit with them.
Yeah.
So there's different types of failures.
Right. There's
a failure in the sense that you end up with something that you didn't plan to have, but it's still good.
Right.
So now you get a new product. Yeah. That happens.
That's happened.
Yeah. So, and then there is a failure where the yarn is just not that nice.
And it's actually, there's not a lot of failures like that would be considered out and out failures. It's not something that we are willing to send sight unseen to somebody based on what they're seeing on the website.
Right.
It might be okay to have it in here.
Yeah.
Like I can see right to my left, there's a batch of worsted and amethyst brooch that came out a little bit too dark. I wouldn't send that to somebody because I know it's not a proper representation of what's on the website.
Right.
But in the store, the yarn's perfect. If that's the color you want, and you're looking at it, I can't go wrong. It's just a darker, even a darker purple than what amethyst brooch already is. So that's a failure.
A real like aubergine.
Yeah, I can't. It's like an ink.
Yeah.
I can't send that out, but it still can be sold in the store because, of course, at that point they're making their decision. Without having to have it match the photo.
Right.
And then the failures are usually like your Emma sweater was a whole bunch of failures mixed together because we don't like to waste anything.
Yeah.
So we'll go through, pick out slubs, smooth them out, alternate skeins with bad color, and occasionally we give some of it away to other knitters that we think will give it a good home. We've given some
to the school.
Yeah, I don't think they got good commercial brand stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they got any of our stuff. But yeah, we use it. We don't throw anything out.
No.
Nothing.
No.
There's a bag back there of mess ups.
Yeah.
That we'll go to first anytime we want to knit something with
and
our own yarn.
And spinning, it's pretty hard starting with the fleeces, like the farm fleeces that we have, to get whole batch without any kind of little slub or anything. So we have kind of a tolerance for the slubs. So many per so many hundreds of yards and stuff like that. But if it goes over that, then we don't ship that out. Yeah. So some people might be sitting there saying, oh, I don't know, I've gotten a yarn that has a slub in it. Yes, right. You might have. Yeah. You might have.
Yeah, but if it's like 5 or 6 in a ball, then we'll knit with it.
Unfortunately, if it was a consistent mistake, all the way through, like there's slubby yarns, or thick and thin, all consistently, then we'd have a new yarn. But that's not what happens. You hit sections that
so we don't mind knitting with them. We just knit, we take it out, or we smooth it out, and we keep going. I mean, I've knit through some pretty bad batches of yarn in some of my projects. You would never know. The truth is, it's fine. Yeah. But it's not what people are expecting when it arrives in the mail. But let me tell you, even at that, little ends, like if I have 25 yards left on a batch of yarn, it goes in the magic bag. I'll pull all of those little ends out and dye them up for a project we're doing for ourselves. Yeah. We use everything. Yeah. There's way too much labor in it by that point to just throw out yarn. We don't throw out yarn. Yeah. I might throw out, like the most I would ever throw out might be like 2 yards at the end of a comb, because I'm not going to ball that up and dye it. Mm-hmm. But that's it. Mm-hmm. We might slice it together and make like a little weird kind of magic ball of batches and then dye that and use it in one of our projects. Yeah. But I mean, it's rare for us to take something off the shelf. We feel really decadent when we do that. Yeah, to knit for ourselves. Like the Roscoe that I did for Ken was all like together, like patched together. And so we use it.
Then once it's knit and blocked,
you really can't tell.
You really can't tell. It's not... sometimes it's a little bit more work because you're splicing as you go. Right. But to be honest, with our yarns, the wool yarns, when you're splicing, I have a splicer that I use in the mill, but when I'm in my knitting chair in the house and I'm splicing, I'm spit splicing. So you really can't tell. No. And if you do get a yarn, this is probably a good little, if you get a little bit of a yarn, like some of our yarn that has a slub in it, that's just, it's like it's underspun almost. You can do the same thing, even if you just put it between the heels of your hand and just really quickly rub it back and forth and tighten it up, and then you knit with it. Don't bother cutting it out.
We don't send out very many of those. But
no, it does happen from time to time.
Our yarn's pretty smooth on the whole. Yeah. Nowadays, but we're just we try to make sure that nobody is disappointed when they open their box, so that's we'll knit with it ourselves. We don't waste anything. No, I can't even tell you. Like no fiber leaves this building. No. Unless, not at the end stages. At the beginning, of course, we skirt a ton. Yeah. Because we're dealing with fairly dirty farm fleeces. Like lots goes in the trash at the end. But once we put our labor at the beginning, once we put our labor into it, we just can't afford to throw it out.
Even now, like I'm spinning lace today, or getting ready to spin lace, and there's the rovings that come off of out of the carder that you use to prep to put behind the spinner. Often there's a little bit, some are longer, some are a little bit shorter, just because of the way that the machines work. So I make sure that they're even when they go through. So I'll pull off a little tuft, like literally as big as a cotton ball. I don't even throw that out. That goes into a bag that says lace, in this case.
And then we'll use it in the next batch.
And then we use it in the next batch. So we really try to keep the waste down. And then if there's a bad
fleece, it goes into dryer balls or roving for felting. Yeah. If they're
stuffing,
stuffing,
depending on how if it has like a lot of vegetation.
If it's got any labor in it whatsoever, we do not throw it out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really interesting, in terms of the whole fast fashion thing and how things tend to work in the world these days. Think about that, like that's somebody's labor. Yeah. That you're recycling, you're not recycling every season, or you're throwing out after you've worn it twice or whatever. It's very kind of close to our hearts, like that represents a day in someone's life that they've put into making that thing. Kind of makes you think. So we certainly wouldn't throw out our own labor.
I think our attitudes have changed a lot to being farmers, and I mean the world has changed too since we've become farmers, but we fix things now too. We mend clothes and sweaters. Ken's fixed more hoses than I don't know what in the last little while. Like we used to throw that stuff out. Your hose, the end of your hose got run over by the ATV. Throw it out. Not anymore. Not anymore. No. We fix it. What else has he fixed lately? He fixed that. He fixed
some of the plumbing, like
the
actual plumbing in the barn, like to get the sheep water and stuff.
Yeah, the pieces, like the parts, rather than doing a big, redo.
Overhaul. I put a new element in my stove myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we really, I have to say it's kind of empowering.
Very.
Yeah.
I just don't need more stuff.
No.
Like you should see what I wear to work too, like t-shirts that are full of dye and like all armpit stains and like they're just disgusting. Like I have the deodorant colors your white t-shirts and stuff. I don't care. Like I'm gonna wear them until I don't know when they'll have to be threadbare. I mean, why wouldn't I? I mean, I'm just dying in them, so it's like it's really quite rustic. Mm-hmm. And I often show up to midnight still wearing them. And
very far away from where we were 15 years ago, let's say.
But it feels really clean and responsible. Like there's not a lot of stuff hanging around that doesn't have a purpose.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of serene, clean way of living. And I don't mean minimalist where you make your house look like it came out of some Norwegian design magazine. Yeah. I mean actually just not wasting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people go out and buy the stuff to make it look minimalist.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's all new.
Yeah.
Every year.
Extension cords was another thing.
Yeah.
We fixed a bunch of those. Cords. Yeah. He got professional advice on how to do it, but things that we, it's just like
when I want to paint a room now, I go up to the closet and I'm like, well, what have I got here? See, yellow, this green that I did the living room with. Beige from the bathroom. Yeah. Like, okay, what can I paint with?
And so at some point things have to get thrown away because there's but we repurpose things like if it hasn't gone through like 4 or 5 reincarnations or whatever, or reimaginations, then it doesn't go in the garbage either. And you know what really I think that inspired us is that we moved into an old house that had there was a farm at one time, and we found things in the barn. We were like, why? Well, how was this made? And you saw people didn't throw stuff out.
No,
if it was like durable, like metal or leather or whatever, they kept the parts and then used them again.
Right.
And it wasn't just, I always used to tease my grandparents about, you're a pack rat, but that's not what it was about. It was about, you never know when you could use that for another
and they
project.
went through the Depression, so you didn't want to throw anything out because you may never be able to buy anything ever again.
Yeah. So I think that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
So the big lessons today are swatch.
Right.
And don't throw anything out.
Repurpose. Yeah. And don't try to make bisque at 1 o'clock in the morning while drinking.
Yeah. With avocado colored paper towel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And don't go to the wharf to buy a shellfish with a convertible. So many. There's really so many lessons, really.
Don't send the city guy to negotiate the extra 20 cents off
the shellfish right there, $1.80.
Wow, we thought we had a pretty good. That was a good feed. Good feed.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they say here. Oh, it was a good feed of lobster or a good feed of crab.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So let's say goodbye. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We've rambled long enough.
Yeah, and now I've finally cooled off.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.